A brief rundown of the plane and the details. So this is the fuselage, which obviously it's got the motor and the mountings at the front. There's the battery box on the underside, which in this case has a 8-cell battery in, and the guts of the plane looks like this. So the motor is the only really high current component on the plane, so it needs something called a speed controller. Now in this case the receiver and speed controller is one little integrated black box. You can get spares of those, and they have two connections that go to the motor. So in this case you only got two connections to the motor, so it's a DC motor. And then you've got two servos. One controls the elevator, well in this case one controls the rudder and the other controls the elevator. And there are two push rods, and the push rods come out of the back and they have these funny little connections. So the way that you do these connections is you slide the band down, and then you just unhook it like that, and you have a choice of where you connect it. So if you connect it at the top, then the smallest amount of servo movement gives the most amount of movement on the control surface. So this is the most sensitive, this is the least sensitive, and I'm going to put it both hands at this. I'm going to put it on notch 2, which is the second least sensitive, and once it's pushed through the hole like that, to stop it from coming unclipped, you just slide the rubber band all the way up like that. So that's the control surfaces. The tail assembly is just held on by two screws, Allen screws in this case. They might not even be the originals, but if you ever need to replace the tail for any reason, you just undo the screws, and then this bit just pulls out, and the rest of the tail just comes off. So how to put it all together? Well, first of all, I'm just going to do the battery box like that. The wing is a single foam piece, and you just put it on, and it's held on by 4 elastic bands. So 2 just goes straight over. 2 goes crossways. And after that, the wings you'll find are held on fairly well. Now you can get some little struts that sort of hook on here, but they're mostly aesthetic, and they break incredibly easy when you're landing, so usually I don't bother putting those on. Right, after that, if you're starting up, you need the radio. Where put the radio? There we go. After that, it's just a matter of turn the radio on. Oops. And hook up the power. The power has connectors that'll only hook up one way, and usually when you're doing that, keep your fingers away from the propeller because this thing can twitch. This is actually a fairly soft propeller. You do it with a high power motor, they can do some nasty stuff to your fingers. Anyway, after that, what you'll find is, before you do this, make sure the throttle, this is the throttle, is all the way down. After that, you'll find the control surfaces are now working, and the thing you'll have to do that I didn't do before this flight is actually make sure, using the trims, that they're all more or less centered to begin with, right? Because otherwise you'll have to do that during the flight. And make sure that the way that I would always launch this is to put it up to full throttle and then throw it, and give it a good hard throw, and that should get you airborne. And for the large part, what you want to do with the first bit of the flight is just gain some altitude and nothing too keen on the manoeuvres. So that's basically the plane. Now for the Flycam business. Right, so this is the thing that actually takes the video, and now you actually see it. The way that you work this is, first of all, you turn it on and nothing happens, right? Then you push this button once, and what you'll find is it comes on, it says PY or RY. Then you push this button once and it goes to universal record. Now there are about a dozen mechanisms that this can record in, and then you push this button again to start it recording, and what it does, it'll do a sort of figure-8 thing. Now I've not got a memory card in here, so it'll just say memory full probably, but you see how it's going around like that? That's what it'll do when it's recording. There it says memory full, but this doesn't have a memory card at the moment. I'll get you a 2 gig memory card to go with this, and I've also put some instructions on it. Now that will get you video the right way up. As for balance of the plane goes, as long as you don't put this out on the end of a wing, you're probably okay. But the plane is very stable. So in other words, if you take your hands off the controllers, it'll return very quickly to flat and level flight, or should do. So.
I mean, first trying to get the pins and now try turning. Wait a minute.
Don't worry about me, guys. You're not doing anything incriminating. I want that guy's stuff just as much as you.
Oh, yo, dude! Wait, what's that thing?
So it's